In this video, we're going to be graphing the trig functions sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, so if you did the lab, you would have seen the unit circle and realized the unit circle always had the radius of 1 going out. Okay, in the lab, you discovered each part of your unit circle and what they represented, degrees, and the pi measurement of it. So here are my two graphs. I've got sine and cosine. So this is my 0, 0 right here, my origin, and this is my 0, 0 right here. Okay, so we're going to use that to fill out this chart. So this chart right here. So sine starts at 0. A full revolution would then end at 0. So it starts at 0, ends at 0. Okay, cosine starts at 1, ends at 1. So 1 and 1. So what happens in the middle? Directly in the middle, it changes direction here, so up and then down, so even intervals. So you could say up, down. You could say changes direction, even intervals. Okay, the middle of sine, it's going down. Okay, this is my tangent graph. Tangent graph has a bunch of asymptotes that all of these lines are getting really, really close to. Okay, so what is different about the tangent function? They have asymptotes, it's not continuous. Okay, so what are prominent points that you notice? So it looks like it's intersecting at 0, it's intersecting at 180, it's intersecting at 360. Those are kind of our intersecting points. So graphing our generic sine graph, okay, it starts at 0, and then we're going to go up based on like our unit circle. So we do 0, 180, 270, and 360. Then we do the negative side of it, so negative 90, negative 180, negative 270, and negative 360. So remember, sine started at the center. We went up to 1, and then we also have negative 1 here. So it always skips. So I go up and hit where 90 would be, and then I hit my next one. So it like skipped that 90. Then I drop down, skip my 270, and it ends. Okay, it's going to continue forever that direction. So we're going to put that arrow on it, and then I do the same thing the opposite way. Okay, so I start in the center. I skip my negative 90. I hit my negative 180, which is my next one. Skip, and that is my sine graph. Okay, it looks like it actually has an S in the center, so if you try to remember it that way, let's see if I can, there should be a S in the center here. Sine makes that S in the center. Okay, cosine's going to start at the top. So my cosine, we're going to draw it out again. So 90, 180, 270, 360, negative 90, negative 180, negative 270, negative 360, negative 1 to 1. Okay, this one starts at the top. So starting at the top, we hit our first one, skip, and it goes forever that way. Okay, we always hit the negative 90, skip the next one, and it goes forever this direction. Okay, if we're applying a negative to it, it's going to be the flip of it. So it would start at the bottom at negative 1 and be just the mirror image of it. Okay, then we also have tangent. So when doing tangent here, I'm going to fill in my 90, 180, 270, 360, negative 90, negative 180, negative 270, negative 360. Okay, and then we build in our asymptotes. Our asymptotes start at the 90s. Then we skip one, go to the next one, go to the next one. Okay, because if you type in tangent of 90 in your calculator, it would say error. So that's kind of how you know that that's where your asymptotes are occurring, because there is not a tangent of 90. Okay, so this one, it starts at these points and it gets closer to the asymptotes. Starts at that next one, closer to the asymptotes, closer to the asymptotes. This would continue forever that way. Starts at that point that we skipped, and it gets closer to those asymptotes, like our little walls there. All right. So amplitude is how high or low it goes. How high or low. So that's my up and down. My period is how far left or right I have to draw my graph. Okay, so that's considered our one full rotation. So that's generally what we need to see, is at least one rotation to know how far up it goes and how far left and right it goes. Okay, so our amplitude is going to be the absolute value of A for both of these. So A, we take the absolute value, so make our answers positive, and that will be how high it will go. Tangent is going to be undefined because my tangent graph continues forever and ever up and down, so we can't have a high and a low. Okay, my left to right here, my sine, we're doing 360 divided by B, 360 divided by B, and then tangent, since it's one full rotation, really starts at that 180 there. We're actually going to do 180 divided by B. We need the full 360 for the sine and cosine's full rotations. Okay, so the amplitude for this, we take the absolute value of this, we're going to get 3, and then this one, I do 360 divided by 4 to get 90. So that means the farthest left and right that I would have to show my graph would be to 90. Okay, we take the absolute value of this, so we get 6. I take that 5, because it's cosine, I'm doing 360, and I would get 72. Okay, and I'll explain how we're getting that weird 72 and how we put it on the graph in a little bit. Okay, absolute value of 2 is 2, but my amplitude, remember, I don't have a high and low for tangent. So this is undefined, but I can do my left and right, but one full rotation is 180 in this, so I'm doing 180 divided by 1/3, which is actually multiplying by 3, so the furthest left and right I'll be going is 540 degrees. Okay, now we're actually going to do it on the graph. So my amplitude for this is just 1, which means the highest and lowest I go is 1 and -1. Okay, my period is 360 divided by that 3, so 120. So what I actually need to do is divide all of my degrees by 3. So really this started out 90. 90 divided by 3 is going to get me 30. My next one would have been 180. 180 divided by 3 gets me 60. My next one would have been 270. 270 divided by 3 is 90. And then my last one would be 360. 360 divided by 3 will get me 120. And then I follow suit on the left side. Okay, and you see my period, that's how far right and left I go. Well, I ended it at 120. So that's how you kind of shrink or stretch your graphs, is by that period there. So now I need to do my negative side. Okay, a cosine graph starts at my top. I hit my first ones, skip my next one, hit. So I hit my first one, skip my next one, and it looks like that. And it was a positive cosine, so it should look like that. Okay, my next one, my amplitude is 1/4. So the highest he goes is 1/4. That was bad. The lowest he goes is -1/4. My amplitude, there's nothing there, so the farthest out left and right I will go is 360, so that's my normal range, so I'm going to go ahead and do them. So 90, 180, 270, 360, -90, -180, -270, -360. Remember, sine starts in the center. Think sine, center. It's got to create that S in the center. So I start it in my center. I have to go up and hit it, skip my first one, and hit my next one. Okay, skip my first one, hit my next one. So it should look like that to give me my full rotation out of 360. Alright, my next one, my amplitude is not 4 because it's tangent. It's undefined. Okay, this one I do 360 divided by 1/3, which is the same as multiplying by 3. So my graph is going to stretch because this is going to get me 540. So basically I'm taking all of my numbers, dividing them by 1/3, which is the same as multiplying by 3. So my first one here, 90 times 3 gets me 270. My next one here, 180 times 3 gets me 540. which is the max that I really need to show for one full rotation. So now I just need that negative side of it. Okay, I draw in my dashed lines because it's a tangent function. So really there would have been another set over here. Okay, I start from the center, get close, start from the center, get close, and that's all I really need to show for one period or one full rotation. Okay, my next one, we take the absolute value, so my amplitude is going to be 4, so the high is 4, the low is -4. And then I do my normal 360 because there's nothing in here. And tangent, I'm sorry, this should have been 180. Divided by 1/3 gets us 540, sorry. Okay, you're still doing the same thing of multiplying all your answers by 3, but it should have been a 180 there. Just wrote the wrong one in. Okay, so 360. So I'm going to go 90, 180, 270, 360, -90, -180, -270, -360. Okay, sine starts from the center, so he'd be starting from the center, and normally we go up first. The problem is this is a -1, so I need to go opposite. So instead of going up to the right, I now need to go up to the left to skip my first one and connect. Okay, then I go down to connect my other side. Okay, cosine, so my amplitude is 3/4. We do 360 divided by 1/2, which is the same as multiplying by 2, so the furthest out is 720. So I take all of my things out here, and I multiply by 2. So 90 times 2 gets me 180. 180 times 2 gets me 360. 270 times 2 gets me 540. And 360 times 2 gets me that 720, which is the max out that I need to go. And now I need to write it on my other side. The highest he went was 3/4. The lowest he goes is -3/4. Okay, cosine starts at the top. Okay, and then we go down and hit our first ones, skip our next ones. So there's my cosine. Okay, my next one, my amplitude is 3. This one I do 360 divided by 2/3, which is the same as multiplying by 3/2, so that's what I'm going to do to all of my things over here. So 360 divided by 2/3 gets me 540. So 90 times 3/2. So I'm multiplying all these by 3/2, so I'm going to get 135. My next one I'm going to get 270, 405, and my last one here is 540, which is the furthest out I need to go. So -135, -270, -405, and -540. Sine starts from the center and makes that S. So going from that center, ooh, my high is 3 and -3. So making that S, we skip the first one, go down and hit. Then we got to make that S, so we got to go the opposite way and skip again.